hold on a sec.
Talk show. Well, I'm kicking it and having fun on inspirational radio. Real talk show. Kicking it and having fun. So turn your radio up.
Hello and welcome, everybody. I'm your host, Robert Ashley. Tonight, we're going to be talking about some things that are new to our community, and we're going to be doing it with the Deacon Seaworth, LaSonia Witt, and of course, our main man, Bishop One Good Leg. We affectionately call these guys the Re-Up, and tonight they have a very special guest with them, and he's going to be introduced by none other than the Deacon himself. So sit back and relax and enjoy this show. I am so godly proud to be with these guys on tonight, and just a loving and wonderful time, okay?
Okay, man, we haven't had Robert Ashley introduce us in a while.
In a long time.
What you been up to? What have you been up to?
Man, Rob, man, I caught him at Redbird Mall the other day.
Okay.
And, he was going into that, what's that, like men's collection shop, I guess, to get some new shoes or something. I said, where you been hiding, man? You need to come by and holler at your people. He agreed, man. He said, I'm gonna pull up on y'all and, you know what I'm saying, give y'all one time.
Why you always talking about that man's shoes? Because we when we met him at that church that time, man, you was complimenting him on the shoes. You like his shoes?
Listen, I had to go there because what was coming out his mouth was not what I expected. He didn't look like what I thought he was gonna look like, and that threw me off a lot. A lot. Lot. I was like, you Robert Ashley? He was like, yes, of course. I was like, I don't know. I'm getting imposter vibes from you, brother.
Mm-hmm. But it was him. It was
actually him.
Live in the flesh, in direct.
Listen, these radio people, baby, you got to be ready for them in person, because they different. You thinking one thing because you hear them on the radio and they pull up on you, be like, whoa, brother.
What's happening?
Yeah. Well, thank him when you get to see him again for introducing us. We ain't had a guest host in a while, so I'm happy. I'm happy to hear that he's come back.
Yeah, man. 25 gonna be different. You heard me?
Okay.
25, I'm gonna be reaching out to some of my people and really, trying to touch them and let them know that the Re-Up is still yet alive and well. You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
I do.
You know what I'm talking about?
I do.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
Well, let's introduce our guest.
Yes.
If you're joining the Re-Up for the first time, Bishop One Good Leg, you got LaSonia, you got myself, but you see the fourth quadrant on the screen today, and we have Michael Ross, right? And I know him as
Big Boss.
I always call him, we've always rubbed shoulders. We get to talk a lot in our morning meetings and our deacon meetings, and I really have grown fond of a lot of the points of views he shares. But really, in a conversation we had probably about a month and a half ago, I kind of got to hear what he did outside of church, as big as what he does and how he serves in church. So wanted to use our platform to help talk a little bit about it, right? So let me introduce him. It's Michael Ross, U.S. Army veteran. He's a passionate advocate, over 25 years of experience in leadership, governance, and humanitarian work in Africa and the U.S. He's the chairman of the board for the Future of Kids, an NGO dedicated to providing access to clean and safe drinking water. Michael has been instrumental in steering the organization's missions to drill boreholes, install solar-powered water systems, and improve the livelihood of underserved communities, again, in Africa, in the U.S. And in addition to these water projects, Michael has championed community-based initiatives that support women's empowerment, education, and sustainable agriculture, recognizing the intersection between clean water access, broader development goals, government agencies, international organizations, and local communities to create a lasting change. And I think this is perfect timing because Michael, probably our last 3 or 4 episodes, especially after the past election, one of the themes that we've been focused on is the fact that as marketplace in the world that we have to really stand up. So we have to, be on our square, be on our post. The passion, the things that God had put in our heart, the influence that we have in the different areas that we move in. We need to be using that because now more than ever, we see a need where people are going to be reaching out. Who God called us to be. And so I think this is definitely the right time and the right place to talk about somebody who is impacting, not only the community here in the U.S., but the community in other countries. So we are excited to meet you. And I just wanted to, start off with that.
Yeah.
Real quick, Mr. Ross, sir, Deacon, D, as you affectionately call
Lord.
what is NGO? What does that stand for? Because Shelton gave us a bunch of jargon and terms that I'm sure you wrote, but you I don't know. It would just been good to know that. Go.
NGO basically is a non-profit government organization.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Government organization.
Non-profit.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Good. Okay. I'm gonna leave it there. I mean, yeah, you said that, but you said the government as well. So
Yeah, you got to work with the
government don't
government.
do nothing for non-profit, but hey, that's another story, another show. We're talking about this other stuff right now, so let's talk about this other stuff.
Well, let's talk about that. Let's start there. Well, no, I want to back up for just a little bit. So you were in the U.S. Army. Thank you for your service.
Yeah.
Appreciate you.
Yeah.
How many years did you serve? What part of the country were you in?
Oh, can you talk about that?
Okay. He might have been some secret ops person.
Yeah, black ops. Great black ops.
Well, you can talk in generalities.
No, not really.
I was I'm an engineer.
Okay, awesome.
Real what we call grunt type stuff, being out in the field. We build bridges and lay minefields, a lot of transportation, all those types of things. We were there mainly to bridge operations, just in case we were going to cross the Euphrates River to invade Iraq.
Okay.
But Saddam Hussein had given up by then, so we were primarily used for transportation.
Okay.
Different places, stationed in Germany. I did 5.5 years in Germany, 2 different tours there, 13 years total. Currently, I'm a disabled veteran, got injured in the military, 100% disabled veteran, but hasn't stopped me from doing what I need to do. So,
All right.
yes.
Were you ever in Fort Bragg?
Fort Bragg, no, I never served at Fort Bragg. That's mostly airborne, those type of guys, but I trained a lot of them. I trained officers as a trainer, West Point guys, and stuff like that. I was a staff.
Okay. Yeah, my son,
Let me see.
my oldest son is in Fort Bragg. That's the reason why I asked. And he was in the engineering. He was airborne, but he was also in engineering. He had went to college for engineering, and so when he went into the military, he found that engineering in the military was a little different than what he was learning in school.
Oh yeah. Yeah, there's all different types of engineering, vertical engineering, horizontal engineering, civil engineering, but in the military, when you're out there dealing with going across the battlefield, you need to be able to cross bridges and rivers and stuff like that.
So walk me through the transition from coming into the military life and then moving into your company, Ross Solar. Like how did that transition happen? And was it something always a passion for you? Was it introduced to you? What was the story behind that?
Well, during my military time and even civilian time, I've been to maybe 15 or 16 different countries, not in other different countries as well. And I found that a lot of the things that we take for granted, they are not available in a lot of these third world countries. One of the things we're talking about now is electricity. We all got power, lights on behind us. We're talking on phones and all that other type of stuff. Nigeria has got 200 million people in that country, but only half of them have reliable power. So you got 100 million people that might have power on the day and that click off and might stay off for 2 weeks or 2 days or 2 hours. It cannot, it's not very reliable. Solar energy company. The issue with that was you got different people that are governing these countries and everything, and a lot of them they're about self. But the whiff of what's in it for me, because I'll say it like this: Western countries will pay these guys off billions of dollars and everything. But then access, when it comes in, they don't want to use it on the roads. They don't want to use it to build infrastructure and things for the people. They just want to take the money and hoard it for themselves and their families. So there's a lot of that going on. I moved from Nigeria after about 6 trips there. And I moved to Kenya to develop this water company that I currently have. Their dollar is more stable than the Nigerian naira, because it kept getting weaker and weaker and weaker. The average Nigerian makes about $2 a day.
Wow.
And to come in with a $1,000 or $2,000 product, it might as well be $1 million of those guys.
Right.
So they out of the money.
Well, so one of the things I thought was interesting when you were talking was how you determined you were going to make your move to Kenya. And last week we did a show all about obedience to the Holy Spirit. And when the Holy Spirit says move, go, and you don't even know necessarily what that's going to entail or how that's going to happen. And thinking back to our initial conversation about that, do you mind sharing a little bit about that move and what actually prompted you to move in the direction of Kenya?
Well, actually, the move that I got, the word I got from the Lord was actually to go to Nigeria.
Okay.
And I'm living in Austin at the time, and I'm at my church and everything, and I made a meeting in the state capitol. I heard the vice president of Nigeria, Professor Yemi Osinbajo. He talked about how they needed power and everything in Nigeria. I needed to go. I felt like in my spirit I needed to go there, and I felt like being directed. And so I'm like, well, Lord, I don't have the funding to get to Nigeria. And about 6 weeks later, I get a check for like $13,000.
Man.
Like, now what? Now what?
There you go.
Right.
Yeah. And so I kept feeling this burning desire to go ahead and do what I needed to do. And so about a month later, I stood in front of my church. I told them, I said, I spoke at my church. I said, I believe the Lord is sending me to Nigeria to provide electricity and things of that nature. And that Friday, I got on a plane.
Wow.
Yeah. And so I talked about how it didn't basically work out for me as far as providing solar power and everything there. But our pastor, Bishop Biggs, he has always said something that brought me comfort when I learned about this thing. He said, when the Lord sends you somewhere or you go somewhere, it may not be the thing, but it'll be the thing that leads you to the thing.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so I realized that the time I was in Nigeria, 6 different trips now, I learned a lot. I learned ways to do things. I learned how Africans act and this, that, and the other. I learned about safety and things of that nature. And I would say this much here. With the exception of the first trip to Nigeria that I got blessed with that $13,000 check, I didn't pay a dime to get to Nigeria the following 5 times I went.
Wow.
Wow.
So that's why I know it was him. It was grant money and funding and everything that took me there and back every time.
I got a question for you, Mr. Ross. When we're talking about energy and water and things, you saying that some places don't have it. It seems like it would be a high rate of crime, disease, health issues, because if you don't have like electricity, like the food, how do they like it's a whole lot of other things that's tied to it. So I was just wondering, am I thinking right when I'm thinking along those lines? Without electricity, that they have a lot of other issues that come from not having electricity.
Well, here's one thing that you can bet your last money on, as Don Cornelius used to say. The poorest country in the world has got millionaires.
Wow.
We're the newest country in the world right now, South Sudan.
Mm-hmm.
Wars and things that have the money will have continuously running power. Hotels I stayed in and things, they had power, but sometimes it would go out. But they'd have a generator out back that was large as a tractor trailer that'll start right back up within about 30 seconds to a minute. So the power would go out, then it would come back on, but it was generated like that.
Okay.
And so you had many people that did not have access to refrigeration and things of that nature. They did like we did. We had access to refrigeration. You had dried meats.
Mm-hmm.
You had fresh vegetables and things you had to go out and procure every now and then, And some people would support generators and they would buy the gas and everything that the generators run and stuff. And there was some home solar kits and everything there that people could use.
Okay.
You've mentioned a couple of times the need to work with, sounds like the government here when you were in Austin, and the government, I would assume there in Nigeria and Kenya. Walk us through that experience, because that's not a common, thing for most of us to be in those circles and have those different conversations. Was that something you were accustomed to prior to this, or was it something that you've kind of, learned the lingo and grown into?
Well, something I learned a long time ago, and you talked about it, 2025 coming up, that we as Christians, we should be the lenders and not the borrowers.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And so my thing is, I've been dealing with businesses a long time. I own barbershops I had contracts at military bases to cut the trainees' hair, do the female, hair and things of that nature. But after making a certain amount of money for 3 years and then the contract comes back up and you bid on it again, then you lose your contract. But at a cheaper price, I'm like, okay, I have $100,000 worth of equipment. Now, what do I do with it?
Right.
And so it was time to go ahead and take these things into mind and work a job while I was at it, but go ahead and get myself established. So some of the notes that I took, I'm gonna go ahead and I'll go ahead and put this in here now. And for those that are listening, I'm telling you now, if you want to be a successful business owner, solve the problem.
Wow.
That's it. Yeah.
Whatever, whether it's home or abroad. Okay. If you got a better way to build a widget or something like that, or how to, whatever the Lord gives you on your mind, Proverbs talks about knowledge of witty inventions, all these type of things, If you want to be a successful business owner, solve a problem.
All right.
Third world countries are in need of a lot of products and services that we take for granted. And I talked about that a little bit. But some people are so used to being at home that they're afraid to venture out. And we always talk about the things, no risk, no reward, take a chance and all these other types of things. That's really what the word talks about.
Yeah.
Abraham, go this way. Go where? Which direction? He just rolled on out, didn't he? He didn't know where he was going, but he became the father of many nations.
Right.
That's true.
So that's why as time went on, and I also think like that, I was not afraid to get on the plane and go somewhere. Because I've been in combat zones and things of that nature. But just even common sense, you can go to another country and be safe.
Yeah. I want to highlight one thing you should keep saying, that you weren't afraid to do this and afraid to do, that, because I think that's key. God asks us to do certain things, and too many times we have a level of fear in that. And, the thing that we overcome that is with our faith. Like when we know God is in it and we know he's telling us to do something and we're walking in his purpose, that's our way of overcoming that fear. So I think that's super, super important. Something Lasagna said earlier kind of inspires this next question for me. Again, one of the things that we always like to talk about on this show is dealing with the root of things, right? And so, the fact that you're helping with solar power and water in certain areas that are probably, depraved, or, dealing with a lot of, different things. That's solving a root issue. So when you're talking about solving a problem, that's solving a root issue that ultimately, in my mind, solves a lot of other issues, in these communities, a lot of other issues in these places. Would you agree? Would you say that's actual fact?
The thing I can say is this, and let me touch back on what you were talking about as far as being safe and things of that nature real quick, and I'll move on to that. If you go to another country, say Nigeria, first of all, plan you a hotel where you're going to stay.
Okay.
Once you make connection with that hotel, then you tell the hotel, hey, I would like for you to send a driver to come and pick me up. You guys have been coming off of planes. You see they holding up the sign, Mr. Johnson, or whatever the case may be. Now you've got a connection with the hotel with a driver that is accountable to that hotel. You see what I mean? So you ain't got to worry about trying to get an Uber or a taxi and getting kidnapped or nothing like that. They will get you. They know you by your name. They would take you to the hotel. Now, when I did that, my driver that picked me up, he knew where with you. I'm going to meet at 8 o'clock. Can you be down to pick me up? And I always gave him a tip. So you always have your dedicated driver. You got somebody with you on your side to keep you safe. Okay. And then secondly, you also want to contact their U.S. embassy wherever you're going. Every country has a U.S. embassy. Then you let them know you're here, the dates and everything that you are there. Now, as far as Africa goes, not having a lot of the things we take for granted. Africa is the continent that provides the least, or that produces the least amount of carbon monoxide and pollution and everything in the air. But they are the biggest hitters. They are getting hit the worst for climate change. Yeah, and it hasn't rained in Kenya like it normally has. The rain pattern has changed for 5 years. They've run through droughts and all kinds of. You've got animals dying over there, giraffes and and rhinoceroses and elephants and everything out there. And people are doing the same thing. They have a very, very bad lack of water.
Wow.
However, underground, about 200 or 300 feet, is billions of gallons of water. And so I decided to do after talking with one of my pastors, well, Pastor Dobbins.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And I talked a little bit, and I decided, I heard it in my mind to go to Kenya. And that's what I did to the other side of Africa. And now we have a borehole. They drill boreholes down into the ground, tap into that water. Water comes up through piping and everything, similar to an oil well, but smaller version. And then we have what we call water purification system, or reverse osmosis. We'll take water, clean it, minerals and things of that nature, and we'll store it in these 10,000 gallon tanks and everything, and we'll fill up trucks and stuff, send that water out to different points of the areas where people can come with their jerry cans and fill them up, take it back to families. Irrigation. We're setting up plans now to be able to distribute water in different areas of the country where the wild animals can come in and have drinks as well, because they've been bombarding villages, killing people and stuff like that, trying to get the water.
Wow.
Yeah,
Something we take for granted.
absolutely. You saw, I just took a drink a minute ago, my little ghetto cup.
Okay.
Got a little thirsty, all this talking I'm doing,
Okay.
Yeah.
Do they have high rates of diseases because of the lack of water?
Anytime you have lack of water, is going to create a high rate of disease. Yes, ma'am.
Mm-hmm.
Even here in the U.S., we talk about all the time, wash your hands.
Right.
And so when you have that areas, they have sanitation problems. Some people just have to go around behind a tree or whatever and do their business and things like that. We know they're not washing their hands, They still go and do what they need to do, All that stuff can bring on communicable disease and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Right. Flies everywhere and dead animals, all kinds of stuff. Flies get thirsty too, so they'll start, things on people and everything as well.
Wow.
But the things that people can do when you're dealing with going back to what we talked about first, services that you can provide in a third world country or even other countries. And some of the things that you can do, and you can even do it here, you can do what they call online education.
Mm-hmm.
You can do telemedicine. Okay? Other different types of trainings and things of that nature.
Mm-hmm.
The way and the way to get involved in that is begin to reach out to different organizations that are available here in the United States. And one of them is called the U.S. Commercial Service. Okay. You contact them folks and let them know you want to do business overseas, and they will connect you with the people that you want to get connected to. It may be a fee. They got a thing called a gold key service. You'll say whatever country you want to go to. I want to go to Malawi, and I want to be able to do this. They'll say, "What do you have?" Well, I'm selling trinkets or something like that, whatever you want to call it. They, for a certain fee, they will get you set up with the people that will buy those tickets and have a meeting with those people, with you in the class, in the room. 8, 10 different people that are interested in your product.
Wow.
That's how you do that. Now you're able to ship that stuff over there. They'll distribute it out for you. So it's all kinds of ways to do different things. And 97% of the rest of the world are your global customers. Only 3% of the people in the United States are buyers of things that people want to buy. The other 97% is around the world in different countries.
Okay. You're transforming our world, telling us how to get products. And that's a good business. It would be for us providing a service for them, but it can increase our portfolio, and we could help them be what they need to be, but also make us lenders and not borrowers. Yeah,
Right.
Sheldon, you've been hiding Mr. Ross out. We've been needing to talk to him. Sheldon's been holding out.
Mr. Dynamite, you kind of quiet, man. What's on your
Yeah,
mind,
because
man?
he know you've been holding out too. He feeling it. He feeling it. He feeling it. This man talking about we could have been talking to people and putting some products and
Hey,
service across the
hey,
water.
I'm over here soaking it up. You know what I'm
Hey,
talking
I'm
about? I'm
telling you.
soaking it up.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
wisdom.
Yeah, I'm trying to see which products I can
Hey, don't
push
play.
out those people.
Hey, don't play. Don't play. I'm trying to tell
I'm
you.
trying to figure out what products they might need over there. You know what I'm talking about?
And I bet you basic things they need. If you design T-shirts or certain types of shoes or things, I bet you anything that we
I
take for
bet since
granted,
they
they
ain't got no
probably.
water, if I saw it selling jungle juice over there, they'll eat that, they'll drink that up.
Boy,
Well,
Right.
here's the thing that I think is super key, and um, I'm going to say this. I think this is kind of a hindrance sometimes in our Western mindset is that we only think about, like, if we live in America, we only think about America and how things happen here in America. But God has called us to be kingdom people, right? And
right.
that means what we do should affect the world, and we should have
Mm,
some type of concern. Like it says, go out into the world and preach the gospel and make
mhm,
disciples. And so I think, the way some of the mentality that we have even here, I think in Western civilization is very siloed, and
mhm.
not understanding that, there's a lot of resources that come from Africa, right? We're talking
That's
about
right.
them, but there's a lot of untapped resources that, as you were talking about how you're drilling for the water, but, there's infrastructure opportunities there to, you know, not only drill there, but, find more efficient ways to get that water, in the places that it needs to be. Um, there's so much, I think, opportunity there that would only benefit the entire world. Because again, all of these untapped resources that aren't able to, I don't know, maybe somebody has figured out, maybe they're getting pilfered or stolen or whatever word people want to use at this particular time, taken advantage of. But definitely not the way I think Christ wants us to do it. Like, all of
Mhm.
us are joined together in a big way. We have a purpose on this earth. Um, and, I'm really excited about different things like this when I see people, making a difference, reaching out. And that can only expand your territory, as a man, as a Christian, as a man of God. That's what God is looking for us to do, and not be in this little bubble.
Don't play.
Well, I'm concerned, you know, as long as you have a heart's desire to provide service, okay, uh, go out and do what the Lord calls you to do. And he said he'll take care of the worker. He give the worker his hire, he'll take care of you. But don't go out just to make money. And I know none of you all on this, that I'm talking to now, that's not what you have on your mind. But some of the people that may be listening, make sure you want to go out and provide a service to take care
Mm,
of somebody and things of that nature. And then you will be blessed with financials or anything that you need. That's the way I've learned to do things, and it's really worked out for me, and I've been grateful. But Deke, you did mention something that's true. A lot of your different Western countries, that includes Europe and things of that nature,
Hmm.
um, Africa has been pilfered for years.
mhm,
And for those of you that don't keep up with Africa, there's three strong brothers out there in three different countries that have taken over their countries back away from. They didn't keep
mm,
France out, they didn't keep the United States out, and different
mm.
things of that nature. And they're starting to do things on their own. You know,
Wow.
Wow.
Burkina Faso is one of them. Captain Traore is doing some things there. Country of Mali is
Hmm.
doing things, and Niger, that big things there. But like you were saying, Deke, things that you can do. They grow cashews over there. Tom comes over there and buys tons of cashews, takes them to Vietnam, toasts them and packages them and everything, and sells them to the U.S. for 20 times what they paid for.
Wow.
Wow.
So I had a
Them
doctor.
cashews are amazing.
Yeah, cashews.
They're amazing.
They high too.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'll be paying that 20 times price.
you're right. So they may be paying, 25 cents a pound,
Right.
20
Wow.
times, and things of that nature. And if you notice, when you're in your country, a lot of times we don't know what's exactly around us, all the different opportunities and things of that nature. And don't try to say things as a racist type of things or nothing of that nature. But have you ever seen, like, if one person comes here, say from India, and opens up a hotel,
Mm-hmm.
a bunch of other hotels are opening, they're all Indian owned.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
When's the last time have you've gone to a corner gas station and seen a black person or a white person owning a corner gas station or convenience? So they're taking this knowledge and they're giving it to their brothers. They help them
Yeah.
along to their cousins and next thing you know, everybody's prospering.
Right.
And so that's why, Deke, I appreciate you having me on this show. And if there's an opportunity that somebody got a question about it, take your questions, Deke, and we can talk about it online or on the phone or whatever you need. And I can send any references that anybody wants to get them started.
Yeah, a lot of
Yep.
people
Deacon.
don't know that a lot of people of Indian descent have become CEOs of a lot of the major corporations. So
That's
a
true.
lot of the corporations that we have in our day-to-day lives are being run by people of Indian descent. And, of course, that can be a good thing if it is done in the right way, and it could be a bad thing. If you got control of the companies, you pretty much got control of the world.
And I think the main thing that I get from this, and that I really want to encourage, especially my Christian brothers and sisters, is there's a lot of knowledge about things like what we're talking about out there in the world. That's what I'm hearing, D, that that we need to be abreast of, that we need to have education on, because if anybody's going to be able to, if we're really going to be able to affect the world in a positive way, you have people who aren't Christians that already understand how these policies, how these processes, how these things work, right? And their motivation is different from our motivation. You know what I mean? It's not meant to. It's meant to get rich. It's meant to, increase and not help the situation, right? And so we need to be abreast. We need to get this information. We need to, and this is the stance that I know I've been feeling in my spirit for the last, couple of months. We have to, get this information and start moving in our strength and our influence in these marketplaces, in these places. Like, we move in a church, right? So we go to church on Sunday and we have our presence there, but God called us to go out into the world, right? And so we're talking about industries. We're talking about different things that we have influence on in our day-to-day, area that we're not really influencing like we should, right? We should be, Dion, you just pointed out different, people moving into CEO roles and stuff like that, but we should be striving to move in those roles. We talk about music, we talk about entertainment, we talk about all of these different things that if we as Christians, the things that you're passionate about, we start moving into that and bringing God into those things and a God mindset and a kingdom mindset in it, then we can really see the effect, on the world, not only in this country, but other countries, and address the problems. Because again, if you're addressing water issues, this is a problem. How can you talk to someone about God and they're thirsty? They thirsty for real water. They're sick. How can you really, share that and not meet the need that they have practically, to show them this is what God can do.
Because sometimes people know what to do, but they don't know how. So they need destiny helpers like Mr. Ross. I believe you're a great asset and a resource for the information and the wisdom and the knowledge that you have from boots on the ground being actually in there. So I think this show is valuable because sometimes you know what to do, but you don't know how to do it. So destiny helpers, like you're a destiny helper to us because Sheldon, he got 3 new students, me, you, and D.
All for it. All for it. You
He
know,
said he all for it. Mhm.
I'll say this, in the United States, some of these systems are designed for certain groups of people not to succeed.
Right.
Yes, I
There
got
are
you.
Yeah.
groups designed for others to succeed.
I got you.
Calling any names or races or nothing like that, but you
Right.
grown, you know what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is, when I go to Africa, and people are always genuinely glad to see me.
Mm.
I actually have, and I tell them to stop this. I actually have people bow things. Oh, thank you, sir. Thank you. So look, man, it's all good, you know.
Right.
But to go somewhere where you are appreciated and
Wow.
see your fellow people that are in need, you know, you can be able to do some things. I went on a church mission trip to Belize. That's down in Central America. And
Hmm.
get down there and spend a couple of days serving and things like that on mission, and just to look and to see what different what they didn't have in Belize. As an outsider, I can they need this, they can do this, I can do this, I can make money doing this, you know. So people come to the United States and do that all the time. Hence the Indian people I told you about, just running the gas stations. The Chinese is not afraid of you. They will go down there and make chop suey in the hood.
Mm. Show will. Show
And we,
will.
yeah,
And
and
I
we,
will buy it in the
yeah,
hood.
and so they, you know, and so only more than 50% of the people in the United States do not have. And so if you're ready to do some things for God, get ready. Go ahead and get that passport, because that could take you a couple of months to get a passport. You know,
Hmm.
even if you want to just take a trip to Canada or Mexico, you need a passport to get out and about in these different places. So prepare yourself ahead of time. If something jumps off, you know, in the next 90, 60, 90 days, all you got to do is get your money instead of waiting on a passport. You can go ahead and go. There are trips
Mm.
out there now. When you start getting connected, well, like I told you, U.S. commercial services, embassies, and things of that nature, and you sign up for these newsletters and stuff, you're gonna start getting things saying about, hey, there's a mission trip going to Tanzania in February. I'm thinking about going to.
Wow.
So just things like that. Dick, we talked about this at church last Sunday. There's um, AI, artificial intelligence, free service called Chat GPT.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Hmm.
I use it every day.
And so, Bishop, you was talking about that, about wonder what I could sell here and there and everything. Type that into Chat GPT. I want to go to, I don't know, I want to go to Namibia or wherever and earn $10,000 a month selling
Wow.
products. What products can I sell in
Wow.
Namibia or Kenya or any, you know, or even Mexico? And believe it or not, it's going to give you what you need.
Wow.
It will. So get creative with that stuff and sit back and try this stuff at home, use these new tools and everything. And I'll say this last part. I know I'm taking over the conversation. I'm sorry. I talk a lot when I get nervous. So you hear me?
No, you
Oh,
good,
you're doing
man.
good. You got 3 new students. You done convinced us to come to class. So you keep on going with this.
Well, I made a conference in Atlanta last week. There's a guy named John Hope Bryant. You've never heard of him, write it down, look him up, get everything he's got. This brother here is point, you know, about industry, businesses, and everything. And John Hope Bryant said by 2030, we will lose 70 million jobs to
Yeah,
AI.
I believe it.
But on the other hand, they will also gain 80 million jobs
Wow.
to people that know how to use artificial intelligence.
Wow.
So now what that means is we've got a head start to be able to go ahead and start learning about this AI thing.
Mm-hmm.
So as the time gets closer, we've got more experience on how to use it. We talk to Chat GPT, say, hey, what's the industry we need to focus on? What's going to happen in the next 3 to 4 years? You might want to focus on, I don't know, Excel spreadsheets or something to be able to do them faster or whatever. But put yourself in a position not to lose your job, you know,
Absolutely.
because
Or to acquire skills to get a new job.
yeah, in Texas is what they call a right to work state.
That's
They
right.
can, they can let you go anytime. Don't have to give you a reason. Don't have to give you unemployment or nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So prepare yourself for this thing that's getting ready to happen. He says about 2030, but we will not know the world as it is today.
Oh yeah, I believe that.
Yeah.
So, a couple of things, and then I do have a question. I want to ask you about the future of our kids program. I want to hear a little bit more about that. But something you just said, and tying this into something you said earlier that we're supposed to be lenders and not borrowers. I think we have to start changing our mindset as well. Right now, especially in America, especially maybe in I'd say I'm going to specify the Black community. We have a mindset of working, for someone else, and I think part of when I talked about the fear earlier is that God has businesses inside of us. He has, different things that we're supposed to be operating on and moving in that we're supposed to have control and influence over that we're not because we get comfortable working for someone else telling us we might complain about the fact that someone telling us, what to do and what time to be there and all that kind of stuff. But it becomes a comfort, a comfortability that we're good with, and then when God gives us the seed of an idea or something that we can move into that would, take us to a level of, again, not being a borrower, but a lender in this world, then we have that fear, right? So I definitely want to encourage, anyone that's listening to us to start, I guess leaning into those things that you're afraid of doing, and really seeking God, for the strength to push through and do those things because they can be probably the answer to a lot of your prayers, a lot of some things that are affect your legacy and so on and so on, right? But Deke, I wanted you to elaborate a little bit more on the Future of Kids program, and then I do want to talk a little bit. I thought it was very interesting in your bio where it was talking about how you help support or sustain women empowerment and I would say what business or leadership. So just wanted you to kind of clarify those two type of things that's in your bio, and we'll go from there.
Okay. Well, first of all, one thing you mentioned is about us and what we do, working and things of that nature. We do what we see. Uh,
Yeah.
our parents modeled us to go out there and go to work every day and things of that nature.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but there's a different type of model out there. And the word says that we're supposed to have dominion over this world, you know.
Ooh, yeah.
And so the way to be able to break those thought processes and generational curses is to be able to start getting around people or listening to podcasts and things of that nature of people that are positive.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I gave you the name of that person, John Hope Bryant. This brother here has got over 100,000 connections around the world. I mean, the conference I went to, if you're a sports fan, he had the NFL commissioner there, the NBA commissioner there, the baseball commissioner there, Stephen A. Smith, Charlamagne the God, you name it. This whole conference was free, and it was for 3 days. He
Wow.
brings, if you're a business owner and things of that nature, people from 20 different countries. It was there to 5 million people around the world. Start listening to people like that. Start changing your mindset.
Mm-hmm.
Says if you hang around 9 broke people, you're gonna be the 10th broke person.
Oh, that's been the problem. Thank you,
Yeah.
Mr. Ross.
If you hang around entrepreneurs, people that are well-to-do, you're gonna end up being the 10th one.
Yeah.
So with that, the future of our kids is something that I've thought about as far as giving back to different communities and things. Again, when I was over in Nigeria, I saw the plight, I saw the death, saw all these different types of things there. And so I decided that I wanted to be able to see what's going on. In some places, some tribes, some villages and things of that nature, women are treated as second-class citizens.
Wow.
Even in Saudi Arabia, when I was there as a soldier, the wife walked 6 paces behind the husband
Mm,
with the children and didn't say nothing unless you spoken to. Okay.
mm.
And so you had a lot of women that were dependent on husbands, things of that nature. In the country of Kenya, there are 58, 60 million people in Kenya. Over 8 million of them are women that are widows.
Wow.
Husbands dead for whatever reason. And so now they are head of household, but many of them don't know how to be a head of household. My husband always said to me, now he's not here anymore. What do I do? Okay. And so I happen to have I started a nonprofit over there. I've got a board and I've got a executive director over there named Angel. And she's got all types of resources and things that we need to be able to teach women on different types of things, like how to operate a laptop or a notepad,
Mm-hmm.
do a budget, how to be able to take this water and things. One of our goals is we're going to take some of this water. We're not only giving it out to different areas, but we're also going to have these women bottling water for sale in their local communities. Okay. And then they'll be able to start getting funding and things of that nature. Now, there is going to be a process in place for every, say, dollar that you make. You're going to get 80 cents of it. We're going to keep 20 cents for you over here in savings.
Mm-hmm.
And
Oh,
then,
good.
then within 2 or 3 years, when you come back with a viable idea from the trainings and things that you had, you want to start a business, then you've got funding there to start a business.
Wow. Wow.
That's awesome.
I like that.
Yeah, so those are some of the things that we're doing. We've got tree planting, where say your folks listening on the on the podcast here, they want to donate $1. It's going to help plant a tree in Kenya that that is actually turning into desert in different parts of the world there because it's so dry, you know.
Wow.
And so we're teaching folks about those different types of things, helping them with savings, and we're looking at providing power in schools and water, clean water. There's another company that federal government entity that I failed to mention called USAID, USAID.
Mm-hmm.
You can look them up. They deal with different folks around the world. They will tell you what they need. And then you can also prepare yourself to bid on those type of jobs and things of that nature. And if you get one, go ahead and put your group in place to make that happen. Make that happen. So that's how we do that. We get on the ground, like you were saying. We got boots on the ground. You get over there and see what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can look around and see what these folks need. Okay, well, they need this, they need that. Let me see how I can provide.
Wow.
Yep.
I love it. I love it. So you mentioned that our listeners can get involved and can donate to this cause and some of the things you have going on. What's the process with that? What link do you have with that? Is that connected to your website?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
It's actually the nonprofit. It's actually the futureofourkids.org. So
Okay.
that's the nonprofit. The for-profit is the Ross Solar Energy Company. But the nonprofit, we don't make any money off of it. We just use it for and get it to them. So www.thefutureofourkids.org. I should have sent that to you. That my apologies.
No, you're good.
Yeah.
This has been
Check
a good
this.
show.
Check this out. There we go. Did I get it right?
Mhm.
Is that right?
Yes, yeah, yes, it is, sir. I got you. Perfect.
Oh, you put THE, it kind of threw me off. You know how we do it. We spell it different when we do stuff.
Wait, how you
I
spell
thought
it,
it was gonna
sir?
be THA, the future.
The
You know how we get it?
What do
The
you
future.
The future. Well, any other thoughts or questions for Michael Ross, Deacon Michael Ross?
This has been really good. Sheldon, I think we're gonna use some of his resources. We're gonna incorporate this into some of your business ideas. I think he's a good asset.
Take the
Absolutely.
trip, take the re-up over to Africa and let them see what it is.
Hey, I'm trying to tell you.
I got my passport. I'm ready.
I got mine.
I just got mine updated. I
Yes,
got mine
sir.
updated. Mhm.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Now, here's the thing, though. Thing you folks are doing right now, you can set that up in a different country.
Wow,
The only thing is you're going to be operating on different hours.
that's
Uh,
true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Here to Kenya, it's 9 hour difference.
9
So
hours. Okay.
it's 8 p.m. here. It's like 5 o'clock in the morning there.
Okay.
You got to deal with things like that. But you can get over there with one of these colleges or universities and see what it is that they need, like a telehealth class or training on entrepreneurship or whatever, and get a contract with them, University of Nairobi or something like that, and teach these classes or even record them. You know, it's all kinds of stuff that you can do.
Absolutely.
Yep.
So, just to sum it up, man, one of the things I know I took from this is we got to find a need, right?
Yeah.
And, that's so biblical because I believe that each and every one of us is an answer to a problem.
Mhm.
We're an answer to a problem in this world. And so, the things that a person might be passionate about, like you might be passionate about this, passionate about that. And, a lot of what we do is we try to tell somebody else to fix it. We want the government to fix it. We want some other business to fix it or some other person to fix it, but we the ones passionate about it, and that to me is a telltale side that you probably got some answers that you can give to that situation. So that's what I would leave. That's my last thought, with this. It's a lot of good nuggets in what we talked about, but yeah, that's the underlying thing for me is
Yeah.
That's awesome.
to be an answer.
And in whatever country you decide to look at, I would say something on the West Coast like Ghana, a lot or something like that. Get in touch with them folks. Let you know you're coming. Like I said, both countries I've been to, I met the vice president of Nigeria,
Wow.
and then in Kenya, I met the vice president's wife who has these type of things, and they're taking me directly to him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I need you to meet first Her Excellency. Okay, cool. Tomorrow, I will send a car to come and get you. You know what I mean? God will take care of you. You get out there and do it, he'll take care of you, I believe.
Awesome.
You just got to start walking in that direction.
All right.
And then that's the other piece. I think you touched on this earlier. Changing your circle. I've gotten blessed over the last few years of my life to be around people that think different, that move different, that's on a different tax bracket, and you start to soon realize that the conversation is different. They see things different. They see life different, and that's what has to happen. We got to get outside of our circles. You go to a different country again, the things that we are concerned about here, pale in comparison. When you're dealing with something like this, not even having water or electricity or something like that, or there's some good things like when you go to other countries, some things that they appreciate a lot more than we do, that we can understand and take gratitude from as well.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Did you eat chicken? Did you eat chicken foot when you was over there in Nigeria?
Chicken foot.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
What They got some good chicken feet in Louisiana, but I didn't eat none in Nigeria or Kenya.
No, he was scared over there. I don't blame you. I don't blame you, Mr. Ross. He said, I
They
don't know
like it
about
hot
over
over
there.
there in Nigeria. They put a lot of that red seasoning on their food, so you probably did right not to eat it. That mug would have been hot. Woo!
They got KFC, Domino's, and everything over there as well.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Absolutely. You can go every day eating some American fast food, or you can try some good things like jollof rice and some chicken and some great,
Yeah.
Things like that. You'll be all right.
Okay. Good. There we go.
Amen.
Well, Michael Ross, really, really appreciate you taking the time, man,
Thank you.
to meet with us. Yeah, we will definitely be chopping it up, more with you because you've definitely, lit a fuel
fire
in,
under
I
me.
know, my
Me
spirit,
too.
on again, just thinking outside of the box that we're so accustomed to. The world is so much bigger than what we see, the communities that we stay in. And I appreciate, brothers like you already, stepping out in faith and doing, some of these things and being willing to pass some of that information back to us to, to allow us to enact and do some of the same things. So thank you a lot.
Thank you.
And anytime you got something going on, you want to pop up on the show, give me a holler, man. We want to continue to go with you on this journey too. And I'm not playing. I'll go to Kenya with you, man. I really will.
He might have 3 new employees. Hey, look, Shell, he might have 3 new employees. I'm talking about students. He might need to go employ us.
Yeah.
But I tell you what, Dick, I would not mind doing a follow-up meeting with you guys in 6 months to 2 months. After you get some feedback and come, you know what I mean? Get some feedback and come back and share what your progress was or who you in your circle to encourage them to get out and do some things, and we could even do some stuff offline, have a class somewhere and sit down.
Sheldon, he done said it.
I'm with it.
The key to being successful to me, believe it or not, is volunteering.
Yep.
Volunteer places will give you the information that you need because you gave of your time. They will give you what you need. I found out in most places, in most cases.
Awesome.
You got it. Lasagna, Dion, any last thoughts?
Oh no, he got 3 new hirees, so just gonna get the paperwork together because we're gonna help you with your vision. Yep, I already see it.
Now,
that was my right hand to the man. My right hand to the man.
So just a quick shout out to our audience. Thank you, Elaine M. She had a lot of good comments, a lot of different things. Thank you for joining the show and joining the conversation. And for all of our future listeners, this is gonna, again, this was our live broadcast, but it's gonna be broadcast. It's gonna be on YouTube. It's gonna be up there forever, right? And we're gonna chop it up and put it in some nice pieces that everybody can eat. But we want to just encourage you. Be obedient to what God is leading you to do. Follow your passion, follow your purpose, and watch where it goes. So thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of The Re-Up.
Yes,
last week I introduced a new song. I can't wait to, have it kind of mixed into it. But, in the meantime, let's go out with our old school, The Re-Up.
Talk show where we're kicking it and having fun on inspirational radio. Real talk show, kicking it and having fun. So turn your radio up.
You made me look like a liar.
Why you said that?
Who said that?
I told my mom you was gonna give her a shout out this week because of the comments she made last week, and you didn't.
Well, we forgot.
Why you didn't remind me? Come on.
You know we can't remember.
I know you can't.
You got to try to his head, not his heart.
I know. That was a whole week ago. I know I
Yeah,
dyed
don't
my
blame.
beard, but I got a bunch of gray right here, man.
And you see, he even cut all his hair off his face. That's probably when his memory went with the hair. Oh, now Dan, you know you
Oh,
wrong for that. Now you know he ain't meant you no harm.
he dead wrong.